there, my name is Monday. Welcome to this channel, Lively Lifestyle, where I share with you how to live your best life here on earth with eternity in view. If you are new here, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell button to get updates on new videos. So today on this channel, I'll be sharing with you the DIY of how I made the Zulu art. It's a very simple art to make. I hope you enjoy the video. Keep watching. Here are the materials you'll be needing for the Zulu hat. The main material here is the cardboard. An alternative is a strong fusible interfacing, which will form the strength of the hat. And I took out my measurements for the hat. Measurement I needed was the head circumference and the height of the hat. The head circumference here is 21 inch and the height of the hat is 5 inches. So 21 inches is the round circumference of our head. You can measure that out with measuring tape and how high you want the hat to be, which is 5 inches. And I'm going to calculate our radius, which is help us to cut out the hat, which is help us to cut out the circumference on our pattern paper, then our fabric. So the calculating the radius here, we use the half circle formula, which is our circumference over pi, and pi here is 3.142. So and I got approximately 6.6, which I'll be using to cut out my pattern on the pattern paper. So I'm cutting out a semicircle, a half circle, and I'm going to be folding my pattern paper this way. I folded my pattern paper into two, then I folded it again in a triangular form. If I'm cutting out a full circle, I'm folding it into four but in a square form. But because it's half circle, I folded into four but in a triangular form. Then I will impute my measurements into the pattern paper. And first of all, I imputed my 6.6, which is the radius rounded. I marked it out using my marker round to get my circumference of the heart. So I just connected it to get that 6 point. Then I'm marking out the height of the heart, which is from the 6.6 mark. I marked out 5 inch, and 5 inches is the height of our heart. So I connected it round. Then I labeled the head circumference and the heart just for you to know which part is which part. Then I cut it out with the scissors. So this is the pattern I'm going to use to cut out my fabric, and also I'll cut it out on my cardboard. So I cut out my pattern. Then I'm going to be placing this pattern on my cardboard. So as you can see here, this is the shape I want, the cone shape. So I will just place it on my cardboard because I'm not going to fold the cardboard. I'll just open it wide and place the pattern wide like that. I placed my pattern on the cardboard and I secured it in place with using a pin. So I traced it out with the rotary cutter. This could also be used to cut it out directly, but I wanted to cut it out with the scissors. So if you don't have a rotary cutter, you can just use a marker to trace it out, or a pencil or a pen. So I traced it out, then I used my scissors to cut it out. For me, it's easier handy to cut it out with the scissors. So I just cut out the semicircle. This will form the cone of our heart. So I cut it out with scissors. Then as you can see here, it's not curvy. It doesn't give you that curvy shape because it's a hard cardboard. So I use my rotary cutter to score it round just to make it flexible and curve easily. So if you don't have a rotary cutter, you can use the scissors, one part of your scissors, just to do this. You are not cutting through, you are just making it flexible and curvy. So I got the cone shape I want, I wanted. Then I'm going to place this now on another cardboard to get the base of the heart. So as you can see here, I placed the cone shape part on another cardboard, a cardboard that is big enough to cover it round. Then I marked it out with a marker so I will know where I'm cutting out from. So I did not cut directly on the line, on the mark line. I just cut around it. So, and next I'm going to cut it out on my fabric, my card pattern. I cut it out on my fabric. So I folded my fabric in the same way I folded the pattern paper, and I cut out my pattern on the fabric. So I cut out two pieces of this pattern for the inside and the outer part of my heart. So this is what I will use to cover the cardboard. I had to sew this just to give it a neat look. So if you don't have a sewing machine, you don't necessarily need to sew. All you need to do is to ensure that you glue it neatly to your cardboard. So this is what I have here. I took this to the sewing machine, sewed it round at the circumference, and I ironed it. So like I said, if you don't have a sewing machine, you just need to glue it neatly to your cardboard. Then I'm cutting out um the base parts now on fabric, and I just place my cardboard on the fabric and marked it around, holding the cardboard in place because you don't want your cardboard moving around. Then I added 1 inch allowance round the cardboard. So I traced it round, and the I'm going to cut it out from the 1 inch allowance. So this allowance is to make sure the edges of your cardboard is properly covered. You don't want to see carton out of your fabric. So after doing that, I notch it round also for neat to cover it neatly. Then I use my spray glue to attach the fabric to the cardboard. So I just ensure that it's neatly arranged and not bulging at the other side. Then I've sewed my circular part, that's the half circle parts of my fabric, and iron it neatly. Now I'm going to put in my cardboard inside and glue. So like I said, you don't have to sew if you don't have a sewing machine. Just ensure you glue it one at a time neatly. So I use my glue gun, my spray glue. I use my spray glue to attach the fabric to the cardboard, and this took some time, but I have to arrange it neatly to make sure that no part is bulging out. So, and I notch round also. I notch round the fabric, and I use my glue gum to close the edge round to give it a neat finishing. Then I'm going to form my cone shape now, and I'm going to attach the two sides together. So I attach the base to the cone part of my heart, which eventually forms the Zulu heart. So I just use a pin to secure the cone shape in place. Then I use my fabric glue to I use my fabric glue to attach the base to the upper part. So as you can see there, I have to do that neatly, arranging it as I go. Then to give it a firm finishing, I use the needle and thread to attach the both sides together. Sorry, it wasn't showing in the video, but what I was just doing there was using the needle and thread to go all around, and that took some time though. So, and our heart is done. So I hope you like this video. Please leave a comment below in the comment section, and don't forget to share this video too and give it a thumbs up. See you in my next video.